Welcome to lesson 5, which is first declension feminine nouns part 2, and I promise you it is easier than part 1. So we're going to start with, well, actually, in lesson 4, we met long alpha stem and eta stem first declension feminine nouns. In lesson 5, we're going to meet short alpha stems. So we're going to start with Moira. You can see the R right here. So it's our example of a short alpha stem, first declension feminine, that has a iota, rho, or epsilon before the endings. So we could compare this, we can compare it with Thea, whoops, or Hesukia, or Cora, all of which we met in lesson 4. So the difference between Moira, short alpha stem, and Te'a, Hasukia, or Cora is that this alpha in the nominative, accusative, and vocative singular is short rather than long. That's the only difference. We'll take a peek at the accent. So it wants to be, look at the nominative singular to find out where the accent wants to be. It wants to be accented over the oi here on the penult. So in the nominative singular, because the penult is accented and long, but the ultima is short, that accent has to be a circumflex. That happens here in the accusative singular, here in the vocative singular, and also in the nominative and vocative plural, because that final alpha iota, that final diphthong in first declension nouns counts as short for purposes of accentuation. Usually alpha iota will count as long, it's a diphthong, but in these first declension nouns it counts as short. All right, where the ultima is long, the accent is still over the oi, but it gets to be an acute. Remember too that all first declension nouns are accented with a circumflex on the ultima in the genitive plural. All right, so here's a short alpha stem where we don't have a iota, rho, or epsilon before the endings. And so here, instead of long alphas, in the genitive and dative singular, we have etas. Okay. Other than that, it looks like Moira. Okay. And short alpha there, a short alpha there, a short alpha there. Okay. All first declension nouns look just the same in the plural. So that's fine. So here we go. Just like Moira, except for the etas there and there, because there's not a iota, rho, or epsilon before the endings. Okay, a word about accentuation here. Again, genitive plural has a circumflex over the ultima. The accent wants to be on the antepenult when the ultima is long, though. Okay, when the ultima is long, the accent ends up on the penult instead, because when an ultima is long, that's as far back as an accent is allowed to go. Remember that final diphthong, that alpha iota there, counts as short for purposes of accentuation. All right, so let's take a look at what different kinds of words will look like in the vocabularies, so you know how they're going to work. So here's an example: hora, horas, hey. So this is a first declension long alpha stem, and it's feminine because it's got that hey there. Kline, klines, hey. Okay, so that's an eta stem, again feminine with the hey. More on that later. Moira, moiras, so that's a short alpha stem. Okay, and because it has a rho there, just like hora does, we've got the long alpha in the genitive rather than the eta. And finally, despoina, despoines, hey, right? So again, it's a short alpha, but because it's not a iota, rho, or epsilon before the endings, we've got an eta in the genitive singular. Okay? And that's it.